At vanishedvpn.com, and today I'm going to show you how to set up the Windows VPN client for L2TP servers. And for this demo, we're going to connect to our servers in the USA, and we're going to demonstrate how you can then be served the US Netflix catalog, which has many more titles in it than the Australian version. So just before we get started, you will have received a link to our knowledge base, which has got some instructions about how to set up this client. I'd highly recommend you read those instructions. There's a couple of really important points. We're going to go through the standard setup and then some additional steps at the end, which sometimes, depending on people's firewalls and whatever they have issues connecting. Those additional steps are there to ensure that it works for everybody. So I'm going to show you all of those steps. So the other point to make in the instructions is before you start, if you're connected to another VPN, make sure you're disconnected. If you've had any unblocking software on your laptop or PC before, we highly recommend that you remove it because it can interfere. And in particular, Holar, if you've used Holar before, make sure it's completely removed from your browser plugins and everything because it runs in the background and it will interfere. So you should see the link to those instructions. There'll be a link on our knowledge base. Okay, so just before we get started, how do I'm in Australia at the moment. I'm getting the Australian Netflix catalogue. How do I know I'm not getting the American catalogue? Because if I do a search for the TV series Friends, which I've got here, you can see it doesn't bring up the TV series Friends. And the other test is for the movie Minions. So again, it brings up things like Minions, doesn't bring up Minions. So that's because I'm being served the Australian catalogue, which has much less stuff in it than the US catalogue. So there's a couple of ways to do this. I'm going to show you the easiest way to do it on Windows 10. So if we get started, you start by just clicking on the Action Center icon here and click on VPN. Just add a new VPN connection. Right, we'll go through the menu here. So there's a drop down for the first one. VPN provider is Windows. Connection name, we can call it anything. I'm going to call it demo. Right, server name, username and password. We strongly suggest that you copy and paste these from either the documents or the email that you would have received when you signed up because they're all case sensitive. I'm going to cheat and just type them in and hopefully I'll get them right. So VPN type is going to be L2TP IPsec with pre-shared key. So just select that. And we've got a few more fields to fill in. The pre-shared key you would have got from your welcome email. So again, copy and paste that into there. Same with your username. All of this is case sensitive. And lastly, the password again, case sensitive. So we really recommend that you copy and paste that in. So then I've just saved that now, and you can see under VPN now I've got this demo here. Now if I click on connect, let's see what happens. It tries to connect, and this is quite a common issue. We quite often have people reporting this issue. Connection was terminated by remote computer before it could be completed. So what's going on here? I'm going to show you the next step of the instructions, which actually takes you through this part. And a lot of people bypass this and then they raise tickets to say it's not working and we get this error. What we need to do is just follow these next steps of the instructions here. So if we, right click on this icon here, which is the network icon, and then we go to Open Network and Sharing Center. That brings up one of the old traditional menus for Windows here. And I'll click on Change Adapter Settings. And here's our VPN that we created earlier on. So what I'm going to do is just right click on that and go to Properties. And you can see some of the stuff we typed in earlier on is here. And what I'm going to do is choose the Security tab. And we need to click on this button, Allow these protocols, and click all of these boxes. So Microsoft makes it reasonably complicated for us, unfortunately, but this is the steps we have to go through to make this work. So make sure allow these protocols, all these boxes is ticked, click on OK. And that's updated that. So now if I go back to the VPN window, I'm going to close that and try to connect again. Okay, straight away we're connected now. So that should be good. We're actually connected. And what I'm going to do is just go back to this Netflix screen. And I'm going to look for friends, and yes, actually, this is a great demo. It's not serving up friends, so it looks like we haven't connected to the US Netflix, which is what we're expecting by completing this. So let me just reload that again and see what happens. Okay, so now I've reloaded it, and quite often this is what you have to do. You just have to reload it to clear it out. You can see I'm now being served the American catalogue. I've got the TV series Friends here, and if I do search for Minion, I've got the movie Minion. So that's all good. We're being served the US catalogue. We're connected to the US servers, which we just set up, and everything's working fine. Now, if you didn't see that catalogue and you're still seeing the Australian catalogue, there are a few steps which are in the instructions, which I'm just going to take you through, which some people, depending on their setup, will need to complete. Now, the first one is if you're sat behind a firewall, sometimes the VPN won't pass through the firewall and it will still be giving your location away locally. So there's a fix for that, quite a simple fix, which means just making a registry change. Now, the easiest way to do that is to open up a command prompt, and there's a link here which tells you how to do that, and you need to do that as administrator. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. Just type in CMD in the search down the bottom here. It brings up command prompt. If you right click on that, run as administrator, click on yes, and you get your command prompt there. Now, if you look in the instructions, there's the text that you need to enter into the command prompt. So you just highlight that and then Control C to copy it. Click on the command prompt window, Control V to paste it in, and you can see it's pasted that in, and just press enter. Operation completed successfully. That's what you want to see. Okay, that's the first step you need to complete, and I'd say at that stage then go back to Netflix, and 9 out of 10 times you should be good. If that doesn't work, there's a further step, and there's some instructions here entitled How to Stop Windows Leaking DNS. And I'm just going to take you through that as well. So there's some quite comprehensive instructions here. Now, the steps we need to go through, to start off with, we need to type this here into the search. So I'm going to copy and paste that down here. Okay, this brings up GP edit. Okay, and that brings up that window there. I'm literally just working through the instructions here. So I'm going to go to computer configuration, admin templates, network, and just double click through these. DNS client, and the final one we want is turn off smart multi-homed name resolution, which is a bit of a mouthful. So we need to find turn off smart multi-home name resolution. You double click on that. It'll bring up this window here. You just click enabled to turn it on, click apply, click OK. And if you go back to this window down here, you can now see that is enabled. And that feature there is something that Microsoft have implemented this to speed things up. And sometimes it means that even if you're going to a site in the States, it will try and use some local DNS servers. So what that means is that will give your location away when we're trying to fool Netflix into thinking you're in America. So we just turn that feature off, and now when you go back to your catalogue, everything should be good. What we recommend at this point is that you reboot your machine to make that registry change take effect. So just reboot your machine, it'll come back, go back onto Netflix, and you should be served the US catalog once you've connected to the VPN, of course. So reboot the machine, reconnect to the VPN, and you serve the US catalog. And that's it. So thanks for watching today, and hopefully that gets you up and running. Thanks.